The galaxy had always been a place of wonder, mystery, and danger. Stars burned bright across endless skies, and planets of every shape and color spun silently in the void. Travelers, explorers, and traders moved from system to system, carrying knowledge, technology, and stories. But among all the legends whispered across star lanes, one name stood out above all: Varkon. Varkon was more than just a warrior. He was a force that inspired awe and fear in equal measure. Tales of his exploits traveled faster than light itself. It was said that entire fleets had been stopped simply because he appeared at the edge of a system. He did not need to fight to win. His reputation alone was enough. Merchants closed their accounts, governments reconsidered decisions, and even the most powerful species bowed to his presence. Yet Varkon was not feared for being cruel. He was feared because he was perfect in his skill. Every move he made was precise. Every plan he created seemed impossible to outthink. His name was known in every corner of the galaxy, and most beings, upon hearing it, simply avoided him. It was a name that carried the weight of legend. Meanwhile, on the outer edge of a quiet sector, a human starship cut across the darkness of space. The ship, the Aurora's Light, was small compared to the massive warships of the galaxy, but it carried a crew that was known for intelligence, courage, and curiosity. Its captain, Mara Ellis, was a human who had earned her own quiet reputation. She was not a warrior in the traditional sense, nor did she command a fleet capable of destruction. Her weapons were her mind, her creativity, and her ability to see solutions where others saw only problems. Mara had always been drawn to the unknown. From a young age, she had studied alien languages, star maps, and histories of civilizations that had long vanished. She believed in the power of understanding over fear and knowledge over force. It was this belief that had led her to venture into territories that even the most daring travelers avoided. Today, that territory belonged to Varkon. Her mission was simple but dangerous: negotiate a rare trade alliance that could bring resources and knowledge to multiple systems. But simple in the galaxy often meant difficult. Every choice carried risks, and the closer Mara's ship came to Varkon's domain, the heavier the air seemed to grow. The stars themselves seemed to dim under the shadow of the legend she was about to face. Her crew moved about the ship with quiet efficiency. Sensors scanned the dark expanse. Navigation officers adjusted coordinates, and engineers checked engines. Each member of the team knew that entering Varkon's territory was a gamble. But they trusted Mara. She had never failed to find a way forward, even in the most impossible situations. Suddenly, the sensors picked up a massive presence. A warship unlike any they had seen before appeared on the edge of their detection range. Its hull shimmered with layers of alien technology, sleek yet intimidating. Mara recognized immediately whose ship it must be. Her heart did not pound with fear, but with focus. "Everyone stay calm," Mara said, her voice steady. "We've prepared for this. Let's see what he wants." As they approached, a holographic projection of Varkon appeared in the main viewing chamber. He was tall, with a form both elegant and terrifying. His eyes glowed faintly with an intensity that seemed to pierce through the very metal of their ship. Mara studied him carefully. She saw not just power, but a mind that had shaped itself through centuries of challenge. "I am Varkon," the figure said, voice deep and controlled. "Why do humans enter my domain?" Mara stepped forward, her stance confident. "I am Captain Mara Ellis of the ship Aurora's Light. We mean no harm. We seek only dialogue, cooperation, and understanding. I believe there are ways for our species to work together for mutual benefit." A pause followed. Varkon tilted his head as if considering her words. Most beings in the galaxy would have bowed, panicked, or retreated. Humans rarely inspired such calm confidence in someone like him, yet Mara spoke with no arrogance, only clarity and purpose. "You speak of cooperation," Varkon said slowly. "Few do. Most are weak or foolish or both." "Why should I believe you are different?" Mara smiled slightly, though her eyes remained serious. "Because I do not seek to conquer or deceive. I offer solutions. I see opportunities for growth, for knowledge, for shared success. I believe intelligence and understanding are as powerful as force, and I am ready to prove it." Varkon studied her for a long time. In his long existence, he had encountered many who spoke words like hers, promising peace, wisdom, or insight. Most had ended up failing, or worse, pretending to be stronger than they were. Mara, however, gave him no pretense to pierce. Her calmness, her clarity, her courage, these were rare. Even he could not deny that. I will observe you, Varkan said finally. Show me what your kind can do when words are not enough. Survive my challenges, and perhaps I will consider your proposal. Fail, and you will learn why most species fear me. The crew exchanged nervous glances. A challenge from Varkan was no small matter. But Mara's face betrayed no fear. Instead, her eyes shone with determination. We accept, she said, but you will see that we humans find solutions in ways others cannot imagine. The first trial was immediate. Varkan opened a portal to a remote asteroid field, dense with jagged rocks and unpredictable gravitational currents. Many ships would have been destroyed just navigating its edges, let alone performing the maneuvers he expected. Mara's crew worked together, relying on both human intuition and technology. Sensors detected shifts in gravity, and Mara issued commands that combined logic with creativity. The ship glided through narrow openings, twisted around massive stones, and avoided collisions that would have torn lesser ships apart. Varkan watched silently. Each movement Mara commanded, each calculation she made on instinct impressed him. Her crew executed flawlessly, responding to challenges with a combination of skill and imagination. For a being used to strength and intimidation, the human approach was unexpected. As they emerged on the other side, Varkan finally spoke. Interesting. Few survive this, and fewer do so with such ingenuity. Perhaps there is more to humans than I thought. Mara nodded, giving no indication of relief. We adapt, she said simply. It is what we do. For the first time in centuries, Varkan felt a spark of curiosity that was not tied to conquest or dominance. This human, fragile yet resilient, clever yet composed, had captured his attention in a way no being had before. He wondered what else she could do, what other ways humans could surprise him. As the stars stretched endlessly ahead of them, the aurora's light continued its journey, moving deeper into territories where no human had dared before. Mara knew that challenges would increase, that danger lurked not only in alien warriors but in the vast unknown reaches of space. Yet she also knew that every step forward was a chance to prove the strength of her species, not through force, but through courage, intelligence, and creativity. Varkan, observing from his distant command, made a silent promise. He would watch, test, and see where this human's ingenuity led. Perhaps, he thought, the galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen before. A human standing not as a victim or follower, but as a match for the galaxy's most feared warrior. And so, under the infinite stars and endless possibilities of space, a quiet but remarkable journey began. One that would challenge legends, redefine expectations, and show the universe that humans, though small in number and fragile in form, carried a strength that even the greatest warriors had never anticipated. The asteroid field had been only the beginning. Varkan watched from afar, fascinated by Mara's calm, precise movements and her ability to guide her crew through what should have been a deadly trial. He had expected fear, mistakes, panic. Instead, he saw efficiency, creativity, and courage. You humans are unusual, Varkan muttered to himself, though he did not realize he was speaking aloud. His advisors, who had accompanied him in holographic form, observed silently. None had seen a human withstand even a single test so gracefully. Varkan's reputation had always been built on strength, strategy, and intimidation. But here was a species that operated on entirely different principles. Mara adjusted her ship's course. Ahead lay a series of floating relics, remnants of a civilization lost centuries ago. Their structures were delicate, floating in clusters like frozen sculptures, held together by faint energy fields. Mara studied them carefully, aware that they could collapse under pressure or trigger unknown defensive systems. Crew, she said, these relics are ancient. We must move carefully, but I believe there is a path through them. Precision will be key. The crew followed her instructions with skill. Sensors scanned every angle, mapping energy patterns and gravitational shifts. Mara guided them in a slow, deliberate dance through the relics. Every misstep could trigger alarms or even damage the ship, but she remained calm, speaking softly but clearly. Adjust thrusters 5% to the left. Watch the energy field on your right. It's unstable. Now, steady, Varkan observed, intrigued. He had spent lifetimes perfecting combat strategy. Yet these humans solved problems not by force but by observation, careful study, and calculated improvisation. Their ingenuity was unlike anything he had ever seen. As the ship reached the center of the relic cluster, Mara noticed a faint signal. A message encoded in patterns she had studied in ancient texts flickered across her screen. It was a puzzle left behind by the civilization that had once inhabited the area. Many explorers before had failed to decipher it, but Mara's mind was sharp, trained in languages and codes both alien and human. "This is it," she said. "It's a key. If we solve this, it will show we can navigate not just physical challenges but mental ones as well." The crew worked together, inputting sequences, testing combinations, and interpreting patterns. Varkan leaned closer to the projection of Mara, curious. The human's thought process was fascinating, methodical yet creative, logical yet flexible. Step by step, the code revealed a safe path through the relic cluster. The energy fields adjusted, opening a clear channel for the Aurora's light to pass. Varkan felt a flicker of admiration. He had seen countless beings attempt challenges like these, and nearly all had failed. Mara had succeeded not through strength or aggression, but through intelligence, patience, and collaboration. "Remarkable," Varkan said quietly. "She adapts, she learns, she improvises. No other species has ever approached a trial like this with such balance." The crew exited the relic cluster, relieved but focused. Mara allowed herself a small smile. "We did well," she said. "But I suspect Varkan will have even greater challenges for us." As if on cue, the ship's sensors detected movement ahead, a vast, derelict space station drifting silently. It was enormous, its surface scarred by time and neglect. Yet even in its decay, it radiated a strange energy, almost alive. Mara's curiosity ignited. "That station, there's something here. Sensors indicate a complex system, possibly artificial intelligence. We need to approach carefully." Varkan watched, his interest piqued. "A human faces a challenge not of force but of intellect and diplomacy," he noted. "Let's see if she can navigate this." Mara piloted the Aurora's light closer to the station. The crew prepared, reviewing schematics of similar structures and anticipating potential hazards. Mara accessed the station's main console remotely, searching for access points and control protocols. Suddenly the system activated. A holographic figure appeared, a guardian AI designed to protect the station from intruders. "You are not authorized," the AI said in a cold, mechanical tone. "All unauthorized beings will be removed." The crew tensed. A traditional approach would involve overwhelming force, but Mara knew that confrontation could trigger defensive measures that might trap or destroy them. Instead, she took a deep breath and addressed the AI calmly. "We come in peace," Mara said. "Our goal is knowledge and cooperation. We do not wish to harm you or this station. Perhaps we can work together to achieve a solution that benefits all." The AI paused. Its systems analyzed her words. No species had ever approached it with reasoning and respect. Most had attempted to hack, override, or destroy its protocols. Mara's approach, logic, diplomacy, and honesty, was entirely new. Varkan leaned forward. "She speaks to a machine as if it were alive. Intriguing." Mara continued. "We can help stabilize your systems. In return, you can allow us to explore safely and gain knowledge that may assist you. Collaboration is better than conflict." Minutes passed. The AI processed her reasoning. Slowly, it adjusted its protocols, recognizing Mara's sincerity and capability. The station's defensive fields deactivated. The AI even offered guidance, revealing hidden chambers containing historical records, advanced technology, and navigation maps lost to the galaxy for centuries. The crew marveled at the discovery. Mara's calm, thoughtful approach had not only ensured their safety, but unlocked resources that could benefit countless civilizations. Varkan felt a sense of disbelief. He had always relied on his unmatched skill to overcome obstacles. Yet here was a human achieving results without fighting, without coercion, without fear. "You are truly extraordinary," Varkon said almost to himself. Your species. Perhaps they are not as fragile as I assumed. Mara, unaware of his observation, guided her crew through the station carefully. Every step, every decision was measured and deliberate. They extracted valuable data, cataloged it, and ensured that the station remained intact, a demonstration of respect and intelligence. When the mission was complete, Mara transmitted a message to Varkon. We have learned much from this place. We hope you see that our methods are not weakness. We achieve success through understanding, not destruction. Perhaps this is the way forward for more than just our species. Varkon remained silent for a long time. He had expected humans to be clever, yes, but he had not expected such creativity, combined with patience, foresight, and respect. His centuries of observing civilizations had taught him that power came from dominance and fear. Yet Mara had shown another path entirely, a path where intelligence, courage, and collaboration could achieve what force could not. Finally, he spoke. You are remarkable. Few beings could navigate challenges like these. You have earned my attention. Mara's crew exchanged glances. They did not know what he meant exactly, but they felt a sense of accomplishment. Mara herself smiled, quietly confident. They had proven that humans were capable of extraordinary things when faced with impossible odds. The journey continued, and Varkon continued to observe. He sent subtle challenges, enigmatic messages, complex puzzles, and situations that tested ingenuity over strength. Mara faced each with calm determination. She solved problems with creative thinking, encouraged her crew to collaborate, and approached every obstacle as an opportunity to learn rather than a threat to overcome. Varkon began to change. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, he realized that the human approach, adaptable, resourceful, cooperative, was a strength unlike any he had encountered. No other species had ever challenged him in this way. Most relied on weapons, intimidation, or brute force. Mara relied on intelligence, courage, and heart. By the time the Aurora's light reached the edge of Varkon's domain, a subtle transformation had occurred. Varkon was no longer simply an observer. He was curious, intrigued, and in a way impressed. He had met warriors, diplomats, and scholars from countless species. Yet none had navigated his trials with the combination of cleverness, empathy, and adaptability that Mara displayed. I underestimated them, Varkon admitted quietly. Perhaps humans are different. Perhaps they are something I have never known. Mara looked out at the stars, unaware of the impact she was having. She focused on the mission ahead, her mind planning for the next challenges, the next trials. The crew trusted her, and the galaxy's future, at least for their part, rested in their ability to demonstrate that strength could take many forms. And so, part 2 of their journey ended with a quiet but profound realization. Humans were capable of more than even legends like Varkon had imagined. They could adapt, think, and inspire in ways that no warrior, no strategy, no force could predict. The stage was set for greater challenges ahead, and the galaxy waited to see how this unusual encounter between legend and humanity would unfold. The Aurora's light sailed smoothly through the void, its engines humming softly as the ship moved deeper into regions where even the bravest explorers seldom traveled. Mara Ellis stood on the bridge, eyes scanning the stars with calm focus. She had faced challenges before, but the presence of Varkon, watching from afar, added a tension she had never experienced. Not fear, she did not fear, but an awareness that every choice carried consequence. Captain, her navigation officer said, we're entering the Zephyr sector. Sensor readings indicate unusual energy patterns ahead. Nothing like we've seen before. Mara nodded. Keep the shields active and sensors sharp. Let's find out what we're dealing with before it finds us. The sector was known for its rogue AI systems, ancient machines left behind by civilizations long gone. Some had become dormant, drifting silently through space. Others had evolved, developing protocols to defend themselves against intruders. Mara's team had studied many, but none were as unpredictable as the reports described. As the ship entered the sector, a massive structure appeared, a derelict orbital station. its surface scarred and worn by centuries in space. But even in its decay, it radiated an intelligence that Mara could sense. "Prepare for boarding," she said. "We need to understand the system before it reacts." The station's main console activated automatically, projecting a holographic figure into the bridge. Its form was sleek and alien, eyes glowing with pale blue light. "Intruders detected," it said in a calm, almost melodic voice. "All unauthorized access will be neutralized." Mara leaned forward. "We mean no harm. We are explorers. Our goal is understanding and cooperation. We wish only to learn and contribute." The AI hesitated, processing her words. Most species would have attacked, hacked, or fled. Humans, however, were different. Mara's tone carried no deception, no aggression, only sincerity and logic. Slowly, the AI lowered its defensive shields. Varkon observed silently. He had expected confrontation, force, or fear. Instead, he saw negotiation, reasoning, and respect. Humans were capable of persuading machines without conflict. This was new. He had never considered diplomacy a form of strength. Mara instructed her crew to connect with the station's systems, studying its patterns, energy flows, and internal architecture. The AI, once hostile, now guided them, revealing hidden chambers filled with artifacts, historical records, and navigational charts lost for centuries. Every discovery was a puzzle, a challenge requiring thought rather than strength. "Captain," the engineer said, "some of these systems are beyond anything we've seen. They could revolutionize travel across multiple sectors." Mara nodded. "Exactly. We must proceed carefully. One mistake, even an accidental one, could destabilize the station." Step by step, the crew explored the station, cataloging knowledge and technology while ensuring the structure remained intact. Mara's approach emphasized respect, collaboration, and learning. Every decision was deliberate, measured, and creative. She had trained her crew to anticipate challenges not through confrontation, but through understanding. Varkon, watching, felt a growing sense of admiration. Humans were not warriors in the traditional sense. They did not rely on sheer strength, intimidation, or fear. They used intelligence, empathy, and creativity to solve impossible problems. For the first time, he wondered if he had underestimated them. As the crew delved deeper, they encountered a puzzle embedded in the station's core, a complex algorithm controlling energy distribution across the entire structure. Most civilizations would have attempted to override it by force, risking catastrophic failure. Mara studied the patterns carefully. "We don't need to break it," she said. "We need to understand it, work with it." Her team collaborated, each member contributing their knowledge, intuition, and creativity. Slowly, they decoded the system, stabilizing it without causing harm. Energy flows returned to equilibrium. Lights flickered back to life, and the AI's voice changed slightly, as if approving of their careful approach. "You are different," the AI said softly. "Most beings would have destroyed this place. You have preserved it." Mara smiled. "Knowledge is more valuable than power. Cooperation is stronger than force. That is how humans succeed." Varkon's holographic figure lingered, absorbing every moment. He had spent centuries perfecting combat, strategy, and survival. Yet here was a human achieving results through methods he had never valued. The realization unsettled him in a fascinating way. Could intelligence and respect truly surpass force and intimidation? The crew gathered to review the data they had collected. Maps, historical records, and technological schematics promised to advance knowledge across multiple sectors. Mara's leadership was subtle but powerful. She guided without dominating, encouraged without imposing, and inspired without demanding. "You have done well," Mara said to her crew, "but our journey is far from over. The galaxy is full of challenges, and each one is an opportunity to show that humans think differently, adapt differently, and persevere differently." Varkon considered her words. His life had been a series of battles and tests of strength. Humans, it seemed, played a different game entirely. Their victories were quiet, subtle, yet profound. He realized that Mara's success was not a fluke. It was a demonstration of human ingenuity and resilience. As the Aurora's light departed the station, a new obstacle appeared, a dense field of plasma storms, unpredictable and dangerous. Mara's crew tensed, knowing that even minor miscalculations could damage the ship or leave them stranded. "Captain," the navigator said, "the storms are shifting rapidly. Sensors are fluctuating. It's unlike anything we've encountered." Mara studied the patterns. "We can navigate this," she said. "We'll use the storm's energy to push us forward rather than resist it. Adjust shields to absorb fluctuations. Modulate thrusters to ride currents. Think of it like surfing a river of light." Her crew worked as one, following her precise instructions. The Aurora's light glided through the plasma storms, twisting and turning with human ingenuity at every step. The storm's energy, which would have destroyed most ships, became an ally in their careful handling. Varkon watched silently, fascinated. Humans did not conquer obstacles, they transformed them. Mara's approach was the antithesis of his own philosophy. Not domination, but adaptation. Not force, but creativity. Not fear, but understanding. Hours later, they emerged unscathed. The plasma storms faded behind them, leaving the crew exhausted but exhilarated. Mara looked at her team, pride in her eyes. "We've proven that even the most dangerous challenges can be met with intelligence, collaboration, and courage," she said. Varkon, who had observed the entire journey, spoke finally. "I underestimated your species, humans. You do not rely on strength alone. You think, adapt, and endure. You find solutions that others cannot even imagine." Mara did not hear him, but she had achieved something even greater than survival. She had begun to change the perception of humans in the eyes of the galaxy's most feared warrior. The journey ahead promised more trials, more challenges designed to test not only skill but creativity, diplomacy, and moral strength. Mara welcomed them. She knew that humans thrived when faced with complexity, uncertainty, and opportunity. Each challenge was a chance to prove that intelligence and heart could surpass even the greatest reputations. Varkon's admiration grew, though he would not admit it openly. For centuries, he had measured strength through combat and dominance. Humans measured strength differently, through innovation, collaboration, and the courage to act wisely even when the odds seemed insurmountable. As the Aurora's light continued toward the heart of Varkon's domain, Mara reflected on their progress. Every obstacle had been met with calm determination. Every challenge had been solved through ingenuity, and every interaction had demonstrated that humans were capable of achieving what others deemed impossible. "Captain," the communications officer said, "we've received a transmission from Varkon. He wants to observe our next trial directly. He says he wishes to see how we handle negotiation and strategy without any external systems involved." Mara nodded. "Prepare the crew. This will be a true test of human ingenuity. Not just survival, but influence, understanding, and collaboration. Let's show him what humans can do when faced with the unexpected." The crew prepared, reviewing plans, anticipating obstacles, and sharpening their minds for the next stage. Varkon, known across the galaxy as the top warrior, would watch closely, and Mara knew that every move mattered. For the first time, Varkon wondered if he might not be the ultimate measure of ability in the galaxy. Perhaps he thought humans, fragile, resourceful, intelligent humans, were capable of something even he had never imagined. And so, the stage was set for trials not of combat, but of intellect, creativity, and heart. Mara and her crew had survived the asteroid fields, unlocked the secrets of a derelict station, and navigated plasma storms that would have destroyed any other ship. The galaxy watched, and Varkon waited, intrigued, as humanity's true potential began to shine. The Aurora's light drifted silently through the shimmering lanes of the Cygnus expanse, a region of space where light from nearby stars bent and curved in strange patterns. The crew moved with quiet efficiency, aware that the next challenge would be unlike any they had faced before. This was no asteroid field to navigate, no rogue AI to outthink. This was a challenge of strategy, diplomacy, and understanding, the type that could test not only skill but wisdom. "Captain," the communications officer said, "we've received a transmission from Varkon. He requests that we participate in a council meeting with representatives from 3 neighboring systems. He says he will observe our negotiation." Mara took a deep breath. "Very well. This is not about strength or speed. This is about thinking, planning, and listening. Prepare the crew. Let's show them the human way." The council chamber was located on a neutral station, a massive circular structure floating in the heart of the sector. As Mara's ship docked, she could feel the weight of history pressing against her. Leaders from 3 star systems had gathered, each expecting negotiation to be dominated by fear, intimidation, or clever manipulation. And among them, Varkon would watch silently, his reputation looming like a shadow over the proceedings. Stepping onto the chamber floor, Mara observed the council members. They were imposing, their forms and voices strange and unfamiliar. They had dealt with countless civilizations and had always relied on hierarchy and dominance to secure agreements. But Mara carried no weapons, no threats, no intimidation. Her strength was her mind, her clarity, and her ability to communicate. Varkan's holographic presence appeared at the side of the chamber, observing her every move. His reputation had been forged through centuries of challenges, but even he felt curiosity that humans could succeed in ways he had never imagined. Mara began with calm introductions, carefully outlining the purpose of the council, a proposal for mutual cooperation between the three systems, offering benefits in trade, technology sharing, and defense without domination. She spoke clearly, demonstrating how collaboration could lead to prosperity for all parties. The council members were skeptical. "Why should we trust humans?" one of them asked. "We have seen civilizations rise and fall through deception and weakness." Mara smiled. "Trust is earned, not demanded. I do not ask you to trust me blindly. I offer solutions that you can verify, actions you can observe, and results you can measure. My crew and I have proven ourselves in situations where force would have failed. Logic, planning, and cooperation are tools that humans use to overcome challenges, not fear." Varkan observed silently, noting the calm confidence in her voice. Humans had always been underestimated by alien civilizations. They were physically weaker, smaller in number, and vulnerable in ways other species were not. Yet here was Mara commanding attention, inspiring cooperation, and presenting solutions that even seasoned leaders could not ignore. The council raised objections, as expected. One member insisted that alliances must come with power guarantees. Another demanded that humans submit to oversight before participating. Mara listened carefully, never interrupting, taking notes and allowing each representative to speak fully. Her crew provided data and charts, visualizing the benefits of collaboration. Then Mara spoke again. "I understand your concerns, but let me ask you this. What is the goal of power if it breeds fear rather than trust? What is the value of strength if it isolates you from progress? Humans have learned that the greatest achievements come when intelligence, creativity, and respect are combined. This is the same principle I ask you to consider today." Varkan leaned slightly forward. He had faced countless opponents, warriors who relied on intimidation, diplomats who used clever lies, and scholars who attempted to sway decisions with knowledge alone. None had ever combined courage, clarity, and empathy so seamlessly. Mara's approach was unfamiliar, yet it worked. The council continued to debate, but Mara had anticipated every argument. She offered compromises without surrendering the core principle of cooperation. She emphasized shared benefits rather than individual gain, showing how each system could thrive without domination. Slowly, one by one, the council members began to nod, their skepticism giving way to understanding. Hours passed. The chamber, once filled with tension and doubt, shifted toward dialogue and shared vision. The leaders began brainstorming together, guided subtly by Mara's questions and observations. She encouraged ideas, helped mediate disagreements, and ensured that every voice was heard. By the end, an agreement was reached, one that ensured mutual benefit, respect, and progress across the three systems. Varkan's eyes narrowed slightly. He had expected humans to survive challenges through cunning or luck. He had not expected them to excel in diplomacy and strategy, influencing others without force or threat. Mara had achieved what most warriors in the galaxy could not: victory through understanding, cooperation, and intelligence. As the council concluded, Varkan addressed Mara directly. "You are remarkable. Humans survive, adapt, and thrive not through strength alone, but through thought, creativity, and courage. You influence outcomes without domination. You achieve what even the greatest warriors often fail to attain." Mara nodded respectfully. "We all have unique strengths. Humans have learned to survive and succeed through collaboration, not conquest. We have proven that intelligence and heart can be as powerful as force." Varkan paused, reflecting on centuries of experience. He had faced countless challenges, defeated innumerable opponents, and earned a reputation that spanned galaxies. Yet here was a human, a species he had once considered fragile, demonstrating strength and wisdom in ways that defied his expectations. "You have shown me something I did not expect," he admitted. Perhaps there is more to your species than I realized. Perhaps you are capable of shaping the galaxy in ways I have never imagined." Mara smiled quietly. She did not boast or celebrate, understanding that the journey was far from over, but she had achieved something significant. She had shown that humans could meet challenges with creativity, intelligence, and respect, earning recognition even from the galaxy's most formidable warrior. As the Aurora's light departed the council station, Mara reflected on the lessons learned. Every obstacle, every challenge, and every negotiation had proven that humans could succeed where others relied on force alone. Intelligence, collaboration, and courage had turned fear into respect, suspicion into cooperation, and obstacles into opportunities. The crew, tired but proud, gathered on the bridge. "Captain," the communications officer said, "Varkon has sent a message. He wants to meet us personally for the next trial. He says he is curious to see if humans can inspire change, not just survive challenges." Mara nodded. "Prepare the ship. We will meet him. Remember, our strength is in our minds and our hearts, not in weapons. We will continue to show that humans achieve greatness in ways others cannot imagine." Varkon prepared for the encounter. For centuries he had measured ability in terms of dominance, strength, and fear. Yet Mara had demonstrated an entirely different form of power, a power that commanded respect, inspired cooperation, and achieved results without intimidation. For the first time, he wondered if yielding might be the wiser course, not through defeat, but through recognition of intelligence and ingenuity. The stage was set for a pivotal moment, a meeting that would determine not only the relationship between humans and Varkon, but the perception of humanity across the galaxy. It was a moment of truth where courage, wisdom, and creativity would be tested against centuries of legend and reputation. As the Aurora's light approached the designated coordinates, Mara felt the familiar thrill of discovery. She knew that the next trial would not be one of speed or danger, but of influence, strategy, and vision. Every word, every choice, and every decision mattered. The galaxy's most feared warrior awaited, and the outcome would not only define their journey, but reshape the understanding of human potential. Varkon's figure appeared before the ship in a holographic projection. "Captain Mara Ellis," he said, voice steady yet tinged with curiosity. "You have proven intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness. Now I wish to see if your species can inspire change, guide others, and achieve results without dominance. Are you ready?" Mara met his gaze calmly. "We are ready. Humans thrive on challenge, and we learn from every experience. We will demonstrate that intelligence, creativity, and cooperation are the greatest forms of strength." Varkon's eyes, sharp and calculating, studied her. He realized that this was no ordinary test. This was a true meeting of minds, a trial of character, strategy, and influence. And for the first time, he did not intend to dominate. Instead, he intended to observe, learn, and perhaps understand the power of humanity. The Aurora's light glided into the designated space. Mara's crew prepared for discussions, negotiations, and problem-solving. Each member understood the stakes. This was not about conflict. It was about showing the universe that humans could achieve extraordinary results without force, and so, the moment of truth arrived. A human captain facing the galaxy's most formidable warrior, not with weapons or intimidation, but with intelligence, courage, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing the strength of one's species. The space around the Aurora's light shimmered as the human crew prepared for their final challenge. The Cygnus expanse stretched infinitely in all directions, the stars flickering like distant candles against the dark void. Mara Ellis stood calmly on the bridge, her hands lightly resting on the console. She did not need weapons or threats. She needed only her mind, her experience, and the unity of her crew. Varkon's holographic figure appeared once more, floating beside the ship's observation window. He looked at Mara with an intensity that carried centuries of reputation and observation. "Captain Ellis," he said, "you have shown intelligence, courage, and resourcefulness. Yet now the true test begins. Can your species achieve influence, inspire cooperation, and bring about change without force?" Mara nodded. "We are ready. Humans have always thrived in challenges that demand creativity, collaboration, and problem-solving. We will show you that strength can take many forms." The trial began as Varkon transmitted a message to the neighboring star systems. A crisis had arisen. A rare celestial event threatened to disrupt several planets' orbits, potentially causing disasters if no solution was found. Traditionally, an alien species would have attempted to assert control, issuing orders or forcing others to follow their plans. Mara, however, had a different approach. "Crew," she said, "we have an opportunity to demonstrate the human way. We must coordinate, communicate, and find solutions that benefit everyone, not just one system." Her team split into roles. Some studied the celestial mechanics, calculating trajectories and gravitational effects. Others focused on communication, sending precise messages to each system while ensuring clarity and collaboration. Engineers prepared contingency measures, making sure that any adjustments would be safe and efficient. As the Aurora's light moved closer to the event, Mara spoke to the representatives of the star systems through secure channels. "We must work together," she said calmly. "Every decision affects everyone. We can prevent disaster if we share knowledge, listen to each other, and coordinate our actions." Skepticism was high. Many had never trusted humans or their methods. They had relied on power and authority to maintain order, and this approach was unfamiliar. Mara did not falter. She demonstrated calculations, simulations, and plans, showing that cooperation could prevent harm while ensuring equitable outcomes. Varkon watched silently, fascinated. This was not survival, negotiation, or strategy in isolation. It was the creation of a solution that required collaboration, influence, and vision. Mara's approach was entirely unique. While most leaders relied on fear or authority, she relied on understanding, empathy, and intelligence. Hours passed as Mara coordinated teams across systems. She patiently mediated disagreements, suggested compromises, and highlighted shared goals. Where one system feared loss, she demonstrated benefit. Where another hesitated, she encouraged action supported by logic and foresight. Slowly, tension gave way to cooperation. Plans aligned, resources were shared, and calculations were refined. Finally, the crisis point approached. The celestial event, an unstable cluster of massive asteroids and gravitational anomalies, threatened planetary orbits. Mara's coordinated plan required precise timing, accurate energy adjustments, and trust between all systems. "Prepare for execution," Mara said. "Follow your roles exactly. Every calculation, every adjustment matters. Together we can succeed." The systems implemented her instructions. The Aurora's light navigated into a position where its technology could monitor and relay energy corrections. Other ships contributed in synchrony, adjusting forces to stabilize the celestial cluster. Mara's crew communicated constantly, ensuring that every step was accurate. Varkon observed closely, noting the precision, coordination, and creativity of the humans. Every action was deliberate, informed by intelligence and foresight rather than force. This was a demonstration of influence, not domination. Power was not imposed, it was shared, guided, and inspired. Slowly, the celestial cluster stabilized. Orbits returned to safe trajectories. Planets that had been at risk were now secure. Systems that had doubted humans now acknowledged the result. Cooperation had prevented disaster, and no single species had dominated the outcome. It was a victory of intelligence, planning, and collaboration. The representatives of the star systems turned to Mara. "Captain Ellis," one said, "we doubted humans, but you have shown that your species can lead without force, achieve results without coercion, and inspire unity without fear." Mara smiled softly. "Thank you. Humans have learned that every challenge is an opportunity to work together, to think creatively, and to act with courage. Strength comes in many forms, and cooperation is one of the most powerful." Varkon's figure appeared more defined than ever, his presence commanding attention, yet strangely respectful. "I have watched centuries of warriors, diplomats, and scholars," he said, voice steady. "I have never seen an approach like this. You have achieved influence and success without force. You have inspired change where fear would normally rule. You have earned my respect." A quiet silence followed, heavy with realization. Varkon had spent his life perfecting the art of dominance, earning a fearsome reputation across galaxies. Yet here was a human, a species he had once underestimated, demonstrating a form of power he had never valued. "I yield," Varkon continued, "not because of defeat, but because your species has shown something remarkable. Humans, through intelligence, courage, and creativity, can achieve results that even the greatest warriors cannot. You have proven the strength of your species beyond measure. The crew of the Aurora's Light exchanged glances, a mixture of awe and quiet pride. Mara remained calm, understanding the significance of Varkon's words. They had not defeated him through force. They had impressed him through ingenuity, collaboration, and heart. As the message spread across the sectors, news of the human achievement reached countless civilizations. Varkon's acknowledgement transformed the perception of humans. No longer were they seen as fragile or weak. They were respected as a species capable of ingenuity, leadership, and extraordinary problem-solving. Mara's crew gathered on the bridge, exhausted but fulfilled. "Captain," the communications officer said, "the galaxy is talking about what we just accomplished. Your leadership, it's changed how humans are seen forever." Mara smiled, though quietly. "We've only begun. Every challenge, every problem is an opportunity to show what humans can do. Our strength is not in fear or weapons, it's in our minds, our hearts, and our ability to work together." Varkon's presence remained, though he no longer observed with the critical detachment of a warrior evaluating an opponent. Instead, he watched with curiosity, respect, and an understanding that humans were something unique, something extraordinary. For centuries, he had been the galaxy's top warrior, feared and respected for his skill, strategy, and dominance. Yet here was a human species showing that strength came in forms he had never considered: collaboration, ingenuity, creativity, and courage. For the first time, he felt that yielding was not weakness but recognition of something greater. As the Aurora's Light sailed toward new horizons, Mara reflected on their journey. Every challenge, asteroid fields, rogue AI systems, plasma storms, and diplomatic trials, had demonstrated a principle humans had long lived by. Intelligence, collaboration, and courage could overcome obstacles that brute force could not. The galaxy was watching. Varkon's acknowledgement was more than personal respect. It was a signal to countless civilizations that humans were a species to be reckoned with, not for strength or violence, but for vision, creativity, and heart. Mara looked at her crew, pride in her eyes. "We've proven that humans can rise to challenges beyond expectation. But our journey is far from over. The galaxy is full of mysteries, opportunities, and problems that need solving. And as humans, we will continue to face them with intelligence, courage, and collaboration." Varkon's voice echoed through the ship's communication system, calm and respectful. "Captain Ellis, crew of the Aurora's Light, you have redefined what strength means. Your species has my admiration. You have shown that victory is not always achieved through force, but through intelligence, heart, and vision. The galaxy will remember this day." A new legend began that day, not of a warrior who ruled through fear, but of humans who inspired through thought, courage, and cooperation. Stories of Mara and her crew would travel faster than light, showing every civilization that humans, though physically fragile, carried a strength of mind and heart that could reshape entire star systems. The Aurora's Light sailed on into the vastness of space, its crew ready for the next adventure. Mara knew that the universe was filled with challenges, but she also knew that humans had already demonstrated a truth few had recognized. Intelligence, courage, and collaboration were as powerful as any weapon, as inspiring as any legend, and as enduring as the stars themselves. And so, in a galaxy once ruled by fear and reputation, a new story emerged. A story of humans, clever and brave, standing not as subjects or followers, but as equals, capable of shaping the cosmos with minds, hearts, and unwavering determination. The legend of Varkon remained, but it was forever changed. Now alongside it, the galaxy would remember the humans who had faced the top warrior, earned his respect, and shown that strength comes in many forms.